Joe Gatto is leaving the Impractical Jokers after almost 12 years. He'll be leaving as a legend of the show, but how did the kid from Staten Island rise from humble origins to become one of the most loved comedians in pop culture? This is the story of Joe Gatto. Joe's story begins in Staten Island, a borough of New York, where he was born to an Italian-American family in 1976. Gatto attended Monsignor Farrell High School and went to school with these guys, Q, Mur and Sal. He was a self-confessed nerd, a member of the bowling and maths teams, and he weighed 104 pounds. He was a sitting duck at school, and so he developed ways to protect himself from bullies, the only way he knew how, making people laugh. He tells one story about how he would go so far as reverse bullying the football players, flipping over their books and telling them to pick him up. Reverse bullying became a trend, and those around him started to notice Joe's talent for comedy. One of these people was Sal, who immediately noticed Joe's talent and begged him to join the drama club. Joe fell in love with improv immediately, and it's where Joe, Q, Sal and Mur all met together and bonded over comedy. After leaving school, the group was separated for years. In the meantime, Joe had experienced immense tragedy, with his father and grandfather dying. He decided he needed an outlet, so the group began practicing improv again in the basement of Joe's house, calling themselves the Tenderloins. Joe loved the Tenderloins, however, he had dreams of becoming a director and decided he needed to move to Hollywood to make it a reality. As is often the case when people move to LA, you either work or you starve, and Joe was finding out the hard way. He had to get a job. He figured that his skills in stand-up would make him perfect for a sales job. He was right. He joined Nordstrom's and he crushed it. He worked in the men's section, selling high-end items, and became the 5th best salesman across the country, even selling designer items to celebrities such as Jessica Alba. Joe was a born salesman, and he loved it. That is, until another tragedy struck. His grandma passed away, his mother's best friend, and Joe felt he had to move back to Staten Island to be with her. He was aged 30 and was moving back into his mother's basement, the same basement where the Tenderloins used to rehearse. And while Joe was back in New York, the group started to reunite. Here was when they really started to click, producing famous Tenderloin sketches such as the Craig Murray incident, and in 2007 even won an NBC comedy competition called It's Your Show. The Tenderloins became known as rising stars in the comedy industry, and when they pitched their idea of a pranking show with a twist, True TV snapped it up. Joe and his friends had made it. The Impractical Jokers were born. If you like this content, please subscribe and hit the bell for more content just like this.